for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Number 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. Number 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Number 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. Number 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. Number 6, to give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. Number 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. Number 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. Number 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Number 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning?
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Aditi Devi Dasi in Canada.
Hare Krishna, Aditi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devi Dasi from Cincinnati.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Priya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, August Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Raleigh.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Are there any other devotees who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Mataji. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Prabhupada. This is Mohini Lakshmi from
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the assembled devotees. This is Sushmita from Mississauga, Canada.
Hare Krishna, Sushmita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shyama Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Looking very beautiful, Mataji, with blue scarf. Radhe, Radhe. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya Narmada Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Are there any other devotees who would like to introduce themselves?
Do you want introduction to finish, Mataji? Aditi Mataji can finish introduction.
Yeah, sure. Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Keshvanand Prabhuji on the call to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, 5th chapter. Yeah, before handing over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to ask Aditi Mataji to go ahead and give a brief introduction about Prabhuji. Mataji, please take over.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Am I audible, Mataji? Okay. Okay, and this is a brief introduction for His Grace Keshvanand Prabhuji. Okay. Dr. Keshvanand Prabhuji was a professional doctor for many years, and he is now a practicing monk. Since the last 20 years, he has conducted extensive research and authored books in the field of science and spirituality. He feels the rift between science and spirituality must disappear to bring peace in the world. If spirituality is a superstitious and a myth, science is materialistic and atheistic. A new approach to life is needed today that can bring best of both. Science must be embraced spirituality and be humble to admit its defects, flaws, and ignorance. And spirituality must base itself on sound scientific and rational ideas. Keshvanand Prabhuji has studied both Vedic and Western philosophy. Besides learning Sanskrit, he also learned Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, and Kannada to know about other traditions. His persistence and endeavor in the field of science and spirituality has enabled him to come up with seminars on diverse topics like science and the Vedas, mind and machines, science fails to explain life, consciousness and beyond, etc., that he has presented in various colleges in India, Europe, and America. Under the guidance of his spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, he has also started a Gurukula, a traditional system of Vedic education in Punjab, India, where children learn the ancient Vedic culture and value. Besides, he has started a farm community. The community has a traditional way of living with mud huts and thatched roofs, with cows, and of course, farming. The community will set a model for the world to show how to live life based on the principle of simple living, high thinking. Dandavat Pranam to Keshvanand Prabhuji. Over to you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the introduction. Hare Krishna. Are there any other devotees who would like to introduce themselves before Prabhuji joins?
Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Mandakini Shone from Gaurang Desh Yatra, Dubai.
Hare Krishna, Mandakini Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Mataji, is this your first time joining this Bhakti Sangha call, Mataji?
No, Mataji, I have joined earlier also.
Oh, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Nandapriya, Namada Mataji. Accept my humble Prabhupada. All the Bhakti Sangha, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sukha Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Keshwanand Prabhu ki jai ho.
Hare Krishna, Keshvanand Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, 7th canto, 5th chapter, sloka number 32, Prabhuji. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Can you
We
unmute?
can't hear you.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
now
Prabhuji.
you can hear me?
Yes,
Can
now.
anybody read the verse for me?
Naisam matu tavat ruk ramang magring svati anartha pagamo yattata mahiyasam pada rajobi sekam nishtinka kananam na vrinitayat vat. Synonym. Shall I read, Prabhuji? Not isam of these Matiha, the conscious, Tava, that long, Rukrama, Angrihim, the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is famous for performing uncommon activities, Varsati, not thus touch, Anartha, of unwanted things, Apagama, the disappearance, yet of which Artha, the purpose, Mahiyasam, of the great souls, the Mahatmas or devotees, Padaraja, of the by the dust of the lotus feet, Abhishekam, consecration, uh, Nistinkananam, of devotees who have nothing to do with this material world, not Pranita, ni accept Yavat as long as. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava completely free from material contamination, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. Purport becoming Krishna conscious brings about anartha apagama, the disappearance of all anarthas, the miserable conditions we have unnecessarily accepted. The material body is the basic principle of these unwanted miserable conditions. The entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries, but persons bound by laws of nature do not know the destination of life. As described in the previous verse, Isa Tantriyam, Guru Dami Baddha, they are conditioned by three strong modes of material nature. The education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called materialistic education. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has explained that materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. Such an education includes the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to materialistic life, to stray further and further away from liberation from unwanted miseries. One may ask why highly educated persons do not take to Krishna consciousness. The reason is explained in this verse. Unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. The educators, scholars, and big political leaders worshipped by millions of people cannot understand the goal of life and take to Krishna consciousness, for they have not accepted a bona fide spiritual master and the Vedas. Therefore, in the Mundaka Upanishad 3.2.3, it is said, Ayanam Atma Pravecha Chanena Labhyo na Medaya na Bahuna Sruttena. One cannot become self-realized simply by having an academic education, by presenting lectures in erudite way, Pravechenane Labhyaha, or by being an intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. One cannot understand Krishna unless one is raised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only one who surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna and had taken the dust of his lotus feet can understand Krishna. First, one must understand how to get out of the clutches of Maya. The only means is to become Krishna conscious. And to become Krishna conscious very easily, one must take shelter of a realized soul, a Mahatma, whose only interest is to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord, as the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.13. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sandatna. Mahatmas. Still what is said, yeah. Continue.
Yeah, continue,
Can I
Mataji.
continue?
Continue, Mataji.
Mahatmanastu mam partha devam pragitam asritya bhajanti anyanya anaso jnana bhata buddhadim avyayam. O son of Pratha, those who are not deluded that the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original and inexhaustible. Therefore, to end the unwanted miseries of life, one must become a devotee. Yeah, yes, Bhakti Bhagavati Achinchana Tavari Gunayas
Tatra Samaste Sura. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna constantly manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and demigods. Bhagavad Gita 5.18.2. Yasya Devya Para Bhakti Yada Devi Tata Kurau. Tasyati Kadita Te Artaha Prakasintu Mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have inflicted faith in both Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Sweta Svatara Upanishad 6.23. Yam Yevesya Virnute Teni Tapyas. Tasyasya Atma Vivarnute Tunim Swam. The Lord is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. Mundaka Upanishad 3.2.3. These are Vedic injunctions. One must take shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a Nishkinkana, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. This is the way to return home back to Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So I'll just begin now. So we are discussing 7th canto, 5th chapter and 32nd verse. Yom Ajnanatimiratasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pacharya Shunnavadi Vashdate Shtarane Prabhupada Ki Jai. So this is Naisham Matistavat Guru Kramangrim Sprishati Anartha Gamo Yad Artha Mahisam Pad Rajo Abhishekam Nishkinchananam Na Pradita Yavat. This verse is one of the verse which is almost linked to the verse which is spoken by Rahugan Maharaj. Rahuganya. And he spoke almost the same verse about accepting the dust of lotus feet of a Vaishnava. So the theme of this verse is that unless we follow a devotee, we'll not be able to be successful in spiritual life. That's the theme here. And Prahlad Maharaj, he expands on that theme. And he's saying, this is a very nice verse if you look into Sanskrit. Naesham Madestavat Uru Kram Angrim. One of the names of Krishna is Uru Kram Angrim. Now, so we know one of the incarnations of Lord Krishna, Trivikram Avatar. That means he actually the three means three planetary systems, and Vikram means he actually won over all the three planetary systems. So we know the whole story of Bali Maharaj, etc. So the idea here is one of the names of Krishna is Uru Kram Angrim. Angrim means lotus feet. And Uru Kram. Uru Kram. Kram means following. Kram means walking. Kram also means walking. Kram means also step by step. There's one of the Sandarbhas written by Jiva Goswami, which is known as which is known as Krama Sandarbha. So krama means step by step. Krama means walking. Uru krama. Uru basically in Sanskrit means thighs. Uru. So this Uru kram. Uru means thighs. Uru also means high, which is very high, on a very high platform. So one of the meanings of Uru Kramangram is krama means steps or activities when one walks. So walking is also can also be understood as doing something in society. For example, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sita Pragasya Ka Bhasha. Krishna says, Arjuna asks us question, Krishna, how does a self-realized person walk in this society? How does he talk? So there, what does Arjuna mean by walking? So Arjuna is not asking how does he walk. So does a devotee walks in a straight line or in a diagonal way, or is he doing a catwalk in the society? That's not the idea. Person walking in the society means how does he act in the society? What are his actions? What are his activities? So when we say krama, Uru krama, that means what are the uncommon activities which are done by Lord Krishna? And that's why Srila Prabhupada translates it as the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is famous for performing uncommon activities. Angrim means lotus feet, krama means activities, Uru means uncommon. High activities, those activities which cannot be understood by common people. Uru. That's why Uru Krama Angrim, that is one of the names of Lord Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj is purposefully using this word Uru Krama Angrim. Why? Because in the association of devotees, what do we get in the association of devotees? That's the idea. So what do we get in association of devotees? In association of devotees, we get to know about uncommon activities of Lord Krishna. And by understanding those uncommon activities, what happens? Angrim. By understanding those uncommon activities, we can take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. We'll be attracted towards Krishna, isn't it? So I mean to say that's the purpose of life. If you want to get attracted to anybody in this material world, you have to hear about him. That's the idea. Vishnu Sahasranam is there. So what does Vishnu Sahasranam? So Vishnu Sahasranam is 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. And so in South India, so presently I'm in South India, so in South India, every house there is Vishnu Sahasranam. And what do people do? I mean to say, why they hear Vishnu Sahasranam? Vishnu Sahasranam are 1,000 names of Vishnu, which are actually informing us about many qualities of Lord Vishnu. Every name informs us about one quality of Lord Krishna. Guna. So in prelude to Vishnu Sahasranam, Bhish Pitama says to Yudhishthira Maharaj that I am informing you about the uncommon qualities of Lord Krishna. Every quality of Krishna is associated with one pastime of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. There's one name, one quality, and one pastime. That's how it goes. So by listening to Vishnu Sahasranam regularly, what happens? We'll become attracted to Lord Vishnu. The more we understand him, the more we glorify him, we'll become attracted. The more we become attracted, we will want to surrender to him because he's a perfect master. So just like a boyfriend becomes attracted to girlfriend, he wants to surrender to the girlfriend. And he says, okay, I can do anything for you, whatever you ask from me. So you can see how much a person will be attracted to Krishna, who is perfect. The challenge is to know him. And how do we know him? How do we know him? In association of devotees. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying here. So I'll come to that point. But the idea is, how do we know him? Uru Krama Angrim. By knowing his uncommon activities. And that's what Bhagavad Gita says, Machik Matrata Prana Bodhyanta Parasparam Tatyantasya Mam Nityam Dushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Katyan prasya mam nityam means devotees discuss with each other. And what do they discuss? What do they discuss? They discuss about Krishna and his pastimes. That's what we are supposed to do our whole life. That's all arrangements in the society, whether it's varnashram, whether it is our temples, or whether it is our entire life. It has to be adjusted in a way that we can always discuss about uncommon activities of Lord Krishna. And that's what will help us to develop appreciation, attraction, and devotion to Lord Krishna. That's what is life for. So you have to see, you have to adjust your life, you have to save your time, and you have to actually discuss about Krishna. And that's why he's saying Uru Kramangaram. So what is Prahlad Maharaj saying? Na esham matis tavat uru kramangrim. So he's saying, so he's saying that people, na means not, esha means people who are materialistic people. Na esham matis tavat uru kramangrim. These materialistic people, mati means intelligence or consciousness. Their consciousness will not be will not be purified. Tavat means until unless. It will not be purified until unless Uru Kramangrim Sprishanti. Sprishanti means touch. Until unless they don't touch, they don't discuss the qualities of Lord Krishna. Until unless they don't come in contact with actually qualities of Lord Krishna. Sprishati can also be connected to Uru Kramangrim. It can be connected to this word Sprishanti Anartha Upugamo. It can also be connected to this word Uru Kramangrim. So this word is very nice, touch. Sprishati means touch. We can discuss about Lord Krishna, but that discussion should touch our soul, should touch our heart. And by touch, we means that discussion should actually impress our heart. That's the whole meaning. So we can discuss about Krishna in a very official way. And we can discuss about Krishna in a very, what do we say? In a very official way or in a very ritualistic way. Like many, so like you see in South India, so in South India there's a system of Parayana. They actually chant 1,000 names of Vishnu, and they simply chant without understanding or without actually meditating on the name. Many ritualistic festivals are here. So what happens? That doesn't help. Every name of Krishna, every pastime of Krishna has to be understood. And with the meaning, we have to actually chant those pastimes, chant those names, and then it has to touch our soul. We have to be impressed by that. That's the whole idea. Entire material world is all about impression, isn't it? That's what is samskar, isn't it? From millions of life, we are actually having so many samskaras. Now, those samskaras are impressions on our soul. That's how it goes. Those sanskaras are impressions on our soul. We do so many things in this material world which are actually giving us deep impressions on our soul. And the way to get rid of it is to get deeper impressions about Krishna. So there is samskara, bad samskaras, good samskaras. And if we get good samskaras, that means that impressions of Krishna, our mind will go to Krishna and then we'll forget this material world and our life is successful. That's the whole idea. Sprishati anartha upugamo. So until unless we don't tabat, until unless we don't touch the holy name, the qualities of Lord Krishna, it doesn't touch our soul. What happens is anartha upugamo yad artha. Anarthas will keep on touching our soul. That's the whole idea. Rasvarjam, rasvabhyasya, param drishtva nivartate. That's what Krishna says. If you get higher taste, you'll lose lower taste. Until unless higher taste, so until unless we don't actually immerse ourselves in higher taste, we'll never lose a lower taste. That's the whole idea here. Sprishati anarth upgamo yad artha. Upgamo means destroy it. disappear unless we don't actually discuss the qualities of Lord Krishna, pastimes, holy names. The anarthas will never disappear from our heart. That's the whole idea of the first two lines. That's uh, so that's what actually, Srila Prabhupada also describes in his purports. But the whole question is, how do we actually um, get to know about Lord Krishna? Now, one way is we can read scriptures. We can buy books and we can read scriptures. That's one way. But another way is, we can read, we can understand scriptures, we can buy them, or you can go on Google and read about qualities of Lord Krishna. It's very easy in this age of internet. But that's not perfect, because that doesn't help much. That can be an introductory way to know Krishna, but the real way to actually understand Krishna and appreciate him is through devotees, and that's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Mahi Asam Pad Rajo Abhishekam. Mahi Asam means great souls. Mahi means great. Mahiya means great. Mahi Asam means great souls. Until unless Pad Rajo Abhishekam, until unless we don't take the dust of lotus feet of devotees, it is impossible to actually appreciate Lord Krishna. And actually, that I have my practical experience. You see, so I've been in ISKCON for last 30 years, and I've been reading Bhagavad Gita and discussing Bhagavatam. But the whole idea is this, yeah, this all discussion of Bhagavatam. Now I am in South India, and I've been listening to Vishnu Sahasranam from one of the sannyasis of Madhva Sampradaya. And I had read Vishnu Sahasranam before. But when the sannyasi is explaining to me, it's entirely different dimension, because devotees have their own practice, own realizations. It's actually completely different, a different dimension. And the dimension, so Vishnu Sahasranam is Om Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkara Bhuta Bhavve Bhavat Prabho. So some South Indians might be there on this forum. They know what I'm talking about. And Vishwam, the whole name of Krishna, Vishnu, the first name Vishwam, we had been discussing on this word for around 3 hours, on this name for 3 hours. And I couldn't imagine such a big dimension is there in this name Vishwam. And that name of Krishna is, Vishnu is connected. It glorifies Vishnu, and it glorifies Vishnu in connection to this material world. But how that glorification is connected to this material word, that is the whole understanding of actually Jagat Chakra. Jagat Chakra, that's a very different understanding, and takes a lot of time to explain that. But the point of what I'm trying to explain is Pad Rajo Abhishekam. Pad Rajo Abhishekam is probably a metaphor, a way of saying that until unless you take you take the dust of the lotus feet of devotees, you will never understand Krishna. That's a metaphorical way, poetic way to speak about Krishna. But the idea here is until unless you don't hear devotees, and you don't need you don't get some higher association. Yeah, that's very important. A devotee who is higher than you, it's very difficult to actually appreciate Lord Krishna. And that's common sense. We can read about Krishna from books, but our whole mind is actually blinded by our own ideas, by our own false ego, by our own layers of ignorance, isn't it? And those, so Srila Prabhupada gives example. Srila Prabhupada says, you cannot see your own eyes by your eyes until unless you don't see in the mirror. Otherwise, by your eyes, you can see entire world. You can see yourself, your body, but you cannot see your own eyes. And that's the whole point there. By our own understanding, by our own consciousness, we'll never be able to appreciate Krishna in a way that he is. We need help of somebody else. To see our eyes, we need help of a mirror. So to see Krishna, we need help of a devotee. We'll not be able to see from our own eyes or our own consciousness. So Padraj Abhishekam, and that's why you see all demigods, they are so, so what can I say? They always hanker, akankshamana, that word is coming. They always hanker to come in this material world, to planet Earth actually, and to associate with great devotees of Lord and hear about Lord. Because yeah, in heavenly planets also they discuss about Krishna and Vishnu, but there's a lot of distraction. But in this earth there are so many great devotees of Lord Vishnu and Krishna, and they so, so they want to take birth here, and they want to hear about Krishna here on this planet Earth, and that's what demigods want. Because there's no much distraction here, and they can focus on the qualities of Lord Krishna. That's one advantage to be born on the planet Earth, and especially in the land of India. And that's what also Bharat, and that's what also Bhagavatam says, Bharat Varsha is so fortunate to be born in the land of Bharat Varsha, where every nook and corner has a temple, and naturally from childhood we know about God, we know about Krishna and Rama, and we don't have any problems of accepting Krishna as God. The whole problem is to know Krishna as God and to understand Krishna as God. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj is recommending to us. Please find association of devotees who can discuss about Krishna, who can discuss about Vishnu, and who can actually help us appreciate Lord Krishna. Find them, discuss with them, associate with them. Now you might ask, what kind of devotees these? So how do we identify such kind of devotees? How do we identify these devotees? Nishkinchananam navrinita yavat. Because there are many people who are actually doing Bhagavad Kathas in Vrindavan, but who are very, but many of them are professional, isn't it? Many of them are professional speakers. They don't have to do anything with God. They have to do. They all have to do with money, isn't it? So simply by observing that a devotee is speaking about God, we will not be able to understand whether he's a godly man and have to associate with him. The only qualification of a pure devotee is Nishkinchananam, that he is a devotee of nothing to do with this material world. That's the devotee we want to associate with him. So nothing to do with material. Kinchan means something. Nishkinchan means nothing. So Nishkinchananam, nothing to do with this material world. That means we have to find a devotee who has no interest in this material world. So we also have devotees who are householders, by the way. We also have devotees who are householders there. And these devotees are, they have to deal with this material world. They have their family, they have their house, they have their children. So then what do you mean by Nishkinchananam? Nishkinchananam means we have no attachment to this material world. Absolutely zero attachment to this material world. Such kind of devotees, Navrinita Yava, such kind of devotees, we have to find and we have to associate with them. How do we know that these devotees have nothing to do with this material world? They're not attached. They'll always be discussing about Krishna. They'll always be appreciating about Krishna. They'll not be interested in professional speaking. They will be so interested to discuss about Krishna to thousands of people and to even single person. They will not be interested in money like professional speakers. They'll always be interested in Krishna, and also they'll be interested in benefiting others and not just doing some drama or show there. That's how we know that that person is Nishkinchanana. He's unattached. Otherwise, you see Bhaktivinoda Thakur by all measures doesn't appear Nishkinchananam, isn't it? And at this time, people couldn't recognize him as a pure devotee. His own sons and wife, they couldn't recognize him as a pure devotee. They once, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's wife and the sons, they once went to Nadia, Navdeep, the actually old Navdeep, and they went to this Jagannath Babaji and to take actually blessings. So Jagannath Babaji said, "You're fools, you should go back to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's a perfected soul. If you come to me and if I instruct you, it will be offense against him. And it will be offensive for you also. Come to me and leave him." But they couldn't recognize. Why? Because he was acting as an ordinary householder, having so many children, a job, all this stuff which goes along a very high post. People couldn't recognize. So his guru couldn't recognize that he's a perfected soul. his guru Vipin Bihari Goswami. And he wanted to bless him by keeping his feet on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's head. Bhakti Siddhanta came and he chastised Vipin Bihari Goswami. What the hell you are doing? You don't know who he is. So, but then how do we know Bhaktivinoda Thakur is actually Nishkinchananam with all these facilities and all these big house which is supplied by Britishers, and then all children and wife and blah blah blah. How do we know? Because he was 24 hours glorifying Lord Krishna. He was 24 hours glorifying Krishna by writing books, by writing songs, by chanting, and by associating with Krishna Babaji. He was not wasting a single time discussing any other topic except Krishna and his service. That's how we know he's a pure devotee. That's how we know he's a Nishkinchananam. Nishkinchananam na Vrinita yavat. Vrinita means accept. So until unless devotees do not accept us, or I mean to say, we do not accept devotees, and first we have to accept them, and then they have to accept us. They should be happy to instruct us. And so until unless that doesn't happen, Krishna will not accept us. Krishna is ready to accept us. He's always ready to accept us. He's a father and mother, and he's a goal. He's a benefactor. He's a well-wisher. He's the super soul in our heart. He's a spiritual master in our Chaitya Guru. He's everything to us. He's ready to accept us, just like a mother is always ready to accept her son. But Krishna will not do it until unless we don't go through some devotee. Otherwise, if he directly accepts us, we will become falsely egoistic that now I'm approaching Krishna. And also, if he accepts us without devotees, we'll not be able to appreciate him and neither relish him and either truly 100% surrender to him if we bypass the devotees, because it is devotees, Padrajo Abhishekam, it is devotees who infuse faith in our heart. It is devotees who infuse ruchi, taste in our heart. It is devotees who infuse enthusiasm in our heart by their words, by their beautiful explanations about Lord Krishna and Vishnu through their own devotion and their own realizations. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj is hell-bent on this. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Na esha matis tavad. And tavad means until unless. You don't take shelter of a devotee. Na vrinita yavat. It is na vrinita yavat anarthapagamam. Neither you will be freed of all this trash in your heart, neither Krishna will accept us, because Krishna never accepts the devotees who are actually impure in their heart. For our benefit, not for his benefit. For our benefit, he will not accept us until unless we are impure. And that's what Krishna is. And that's what this verse is. And Srila Prabhupada quotes beautiful verses there to substantiate that Krishna himself actually accepts this theory of Prahlad Maharaj. He actually puts a stamp on Prahlad Maharaj's theory. And Prabhupada quotes in Bhagavad Gita 9.13, Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti mashrita bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim apyayam. He quotes about great saints who can instruct us. Yasyasi bhaktir bhagavati akinchana So many verses he's quoting in this verse. So the bottom line of this verse is associate with good devotees. Associate with devotees who are always discussing about Lord Krishna. Otherwise, there are so many topics to discuss in this material world. I mean to say, you can keep on discussing blah blah blah, and time and tide waits for none. Death is approaching us. Before death, diseases are approaching us. We are all becoming old, and diseases are approaching us. And no sooner we'll find ourselves at the bed, the time of death. So Prahlad Maharaj says, see, if you are an association of good devotees, even if you don't want to discuss about Krishna, you'll be forced to discuss about him, because that's what pure devotees do. Just like if you are in a group of people who are discussing about cricket and you are there, automatically you'll start thinking about cricket, because 24 hours they'll be discussing about cricket. So then what do? You will get interested in cricket, isn't it? So that's why an association of devotees is so nice, that even if you don't want to discuss about Krishna, you'll be forced to discuss about him. That's the association of devotees all about. But the challenge is to find such a devotee. That's the whole challenge thing. That's the whole sadhana of a devotee. See, our sadhana is chanting Hare Krishna. That's no doubt. Chanting Hare Krishna for regulated principles. But more important than this is to find a devotee whom we can hear Shravanam. Because without Shravanam, there is no Kirtanam. If you simply keep on chanting, if you simply keep on doing something, blah, 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 whatever you want to do, but if you're not discussing about Krishna daily, then your mind will start thinking about some other things. Your mind will start thinking about some service while chanting, isn't it? You can chant and you can keep on thinking about book distribution, or maybe some devotee, doing some arti, but that's not chanting. That is imperfection in chanting. That's not a perfect chanting. We want to come to perfection of chanting. That will happen when we will chant and only chant and think about the person whose name we are chanting, that is Krishna. That will only happen if you're discussing about Krishna. If you're not discussing about Krishna, then that's not going to happen. It's common sense. It's nothing mystic or occult. It's nothing mystic or occult. We'll chant and we'll become pure. How do we become pure? We don't know. It's the power of holy name. Yeah, that's all. But if it was a mystic and occult, then why would Prabhupada write so many books and try to say that it's a science of devotion? Is Prabhupada just exaggerating? Or is Prabhupada just interpolating, trying to convince modern people by saying science? No, it's a science. It's a philosophy. Philosophy is a science. That's 100, 400 and 500 years back, every philosopher was a scientist. Every scientist was a philosopher, because you can't do science without a philosophy, without a principle in your mind, in your head. So, that's that's the whole point there. We think chanting and 4 eggs and preaching is the thing. Yeah, that's a thing. But to actually get the benefit from it, we have to have good Shravanam. That you have to see. That you have to figure out yourself. And good Shravana means sprishati, urukramangrim sprishati. You have to have some higher association. Don't associate. Fine, we have some friends, but we have to have some higher association, and that needs some lot of scrutiny, lot of vivek, and that's what you see. That's what we don't do. That's the whole thing. That's what we are not doing. We have to understand. We have to understand we are not doing enough Shravanam. Pibati Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. Sukdev Goswami uses his word pibati for Shravanam. Drink. He doesn't use the word here. Why does he use the word drink? Because when you drink some liquid, there's a stream of liquid which goes in your mouth. So what Sukadeva Goswami is saying, there is a stream of hearing, a stream of consciousness, a stream, the continuous hearing of Lord Krishna has to be there. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. You can hear in YouTube, you can hear it, you can discuss with some devotees, you can read about Krishna, but that has to be there in your mind and your ears. But that will only happen when you are having some kind of meaningful discussions. You see, there is some kind of discussion which is called as entertainment. We can discuss about Krishna, just like we can see that cartoon Little Krishna, and we can discuss about him. And that's nice. That's okay for kids. But simply watching a cartoon, that's not a meaningful discussion. Meaningful discussion is Bhagavatam, where Sukadeva Goswami is giving a pastime of God Krishna and the philosophy behind it. That's the beauty of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not a storybook. By the way, for your information, Bhagavatam is a book which PhD scholars in all Vaishnav Sampradayas read and try to explain. Anybody who is able to explain Bhagavatam, he is PhD, super PhD, he's considered to be as a scholar. And then he's given a title. Without Bhagavatam, he can't be given a title of actually Param Padma Bhushan scholar, something like that. He can't be given title. Mahamandleshwar, all these titles. Without Bhagavatam, it doesn't happen. That's how deep and complex Bhagavatam is. Why it is deep? Because it is having a meaningful discussion. It is not carrying some stories. Stories, if you want to read, there is Harivansh Puran and all these things. But Bhagavatam, Vyasdev wrote in his full maturity. And that carries a meaning. Why Bhagavatam begins. Vyasdev is sitting on the bank of Saraswati, he's depressed, he meets Narad Muni, and then getting inspired by that. Then he writes Bhagavatam in his full maturity after writing Mahabharata. So there has to be some substance in Bhagavatam, isn't it? What's that substance? That substance is meaningful discussion about Lord Krishna. That means some philosophical discussions. And that Padrajabhishekam, that devotees will tell you. That devotees will tell you why Krishna killed a cow. Is there any meaningful discussion behind that? Yes. Why Krishna killed Dhenukasur? Is there any discussion? Yes. Dhenukasur represents devotees who are bharvahis. Devotees. So Dhenukasur was actually as demon, donkey demon. Krishna killed him, and Dhenukasur represents those people who take knowledge as bharvahi, as simply a load on their head. They don't understand the essence. Sarvahi. They don't understand the essence of the scripture. Simply carry the load of scripture. Krishna killed him. Krishna killed Trinavarth. Why did he kill? Trinavarth represents mental speculation. If we read Bhagavatam and do mental speculation, if we try to understand reality from our own eyes, that is mental speculation. Reality has to be understood through the eyes of scriptures, because only then we can see what is reality. And that is truth. Otherwise, we are all under the grips of Trinavarth. Our intellect is moving round and round and round and round and round. Sometimes we think this is truth, but that might not be the truth, isn't it? For us, sometimes truth appears really nice. I mean, so you see Mahabharata. I'll give you an example. Duryodhan is killed by Bhima in a fight, dual fight. They fought with each other, and Duryodhan is killed by Bhima. And he's lying on the floor in the forest, and he's about to die. He's about to die, some 5 minutes, and he's such a pitiable condition, he's about to die. And Bhima comes, and he puts his foot on his head, on his face, and tries to crush his face. And Ashwathama is there. Ashwathama is saying, Ashwathama, when he saw this, he said, no, Bhima can't be right. Bhima is not a good person. He comes to this conclusion. What is this? Ashwathama used to praise Bhima, but he used to say, what is this? At the end, a person is dying. He's about to leave his life in 5 minutes, and this person is coming and putting his foot on the face of that person and try to crush him. This is not even a human. What kind of person he is, isn't it? If a person is dying, we will have some pity, even if it is Duryodhan or Ravan or somebody. He's about to die in 5 minutes and you come and crush his face, It is like crazy, So Ashwatthama says, this is not right. I can't believe Bhima as a devotee. And then he gets angry and he says, no, I'll kill the whole clan of Pandavas. And then he goes, and then he does tapasya and he gets his sword from Shiva. And he kills 5 sons of Draupadi and he massacres the whole army of Pandavas. So at that time, Pandavas and Draupadi and Krishna were not there. They went somewhere else. He confused Pandavas with the sons of Draupadi. He killed all of them. He killed the entire clan single-handedly. He was so frustrated. So, the Ashwatthama is correct? No. Bhima is a pure devotee. Bhima does this for a purpose. And there are many reasons why Bhima is doing for this purpose. But it doesn't look nice in the eyes of people. So we might think, oh, Bhima did, this is not human, this is not right. But we are wrong. From our eyes, we think this can't be true. But that's truth, what Bhima is doing. It doesn't appear like that. But that's truth, that's reality. And that's the whole point. Devotees will help us to see reality and help us to come out of our own badness and goodness. So here, what Prahlad Maharaj is talking about, anartha. Anartha is not just bad things. Anartha also means good things, which we have, which blinds us. We might have so many emotions. Oh, that person is trying to help that poor man. How sweet. But that might be a reality. That poor person, what he's doing with the money, we have to understand. He might be taking your money and going and drinking and contributing to some mafia. Then you're wrong. You're not seeing reality. Externally, it seems so good. So our badness blind us, our goodness also blind us. Dhritarashtra was blind. Dhritarashtra was blind. So why was blind? He couldn't see anything. Why? Because of his evil nature and because of his good nature. That's also one thing. He was too good to actually understand that Duryodhana is completely wrong and Pandavas are completely right. Because he used to think, well, this Duryodhana is my son and Pandavas also their son. We are all, together. We should all be together. And, we should compromise and go ahead. ठीक है Duryodhana, थोड़ी तुम्हारी, थोड़ी उसकी कर लेंगे. Something we'll do. So what happened? It just created chaos. So reality is something very different what we think. And that's called ignorance. Ignorance is anarthas. Anarthas means unartha. Artha means useful. Anartha means which is not useful. So our goodness is also not useful to us. Sometimes we have to remember that. We don't deny goodness. Humans should have goodness. But we should understand which goodness, what portion of goodness blinds us to reality. That we should get rid of it. Of course, evil things blind us completely. And that goodness which blinds us to reality, that is called as sentimental. That is what is called as sentimental. That is why we say don't be a sentimental devotee. That is what is called sentimental. So, and that's what I mean, Srila Prabhupada was so against all this sentimentality. Prabhupada was also saying, you see, Prabhupada was always saying when he was in Vrindavan, you see people are coming, people are appreciating Krishna. Krishna is so nice, Krishna is so beautiful. They are making bhajans. But in that goodness of appreciating Krishna, they forgot to serve him. Prabhupada said they're simply singing bhajans and appreciating, and 24 hours they're playing mridangas. But what about service? What they're doing? That's why Prabhupada said, I am not going to stay in Vrindavan. I'm going to leave Vrindavan and go to Delhi and serve Krishna rather than sitting here and glorifying him. So glorifying Krishna is good, isn't it? Making bhajans and kirtan is good, but that goodness is not good in the sense it blinds us to reality of service. If it is doing that, then that goodness has to be get rid of, and we have to see reality. Real goodness is to serve him. Otherwise, simply glorifying him and not serving him is not actually good. It's not right. So that's what is. So you see. I'll tell you one thing. Even Duryodhan was an avatar of Kali. If you know, I don't know whether you know or not. Duryodhan is Sakshat Kali. Sakshat Kali. All his 100 brothers are actually incarnation of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, incarnations of Kali and his associates. So Duryodhan, what he's doing is, he actually... So what Duryodhan is doing is, Duryodhan is, whenever he goes to Bhishma Pitama, and whenever he's going to Kauravas, especially Bhishma Pitama and actually his father, Dhritarashtra, and Vidur even, whenever he meets them, he actually deludes them. How? How he deludes them? He says to them, well, Pandavas are nonsense, I'll kill them. No. That's, if he says to this to Bhishma, Bhishma will get pissed off. What he says to them is, he actually invokes their goodness. He goes to Bhishmatama, Duryodhana, and he says, you see, Bhishmatama, we have been there in this whole scenario in Hastinapur, in actually so we have been there from childhood. Pandavas have been as childhood, but nobody cared for us. Our mother was blind. We have been raised by dasis, but Pandavas got the love of their mother Kunti. And you also, Vishwatama, you didn't love us so much. You loved Pandavas more. So we were always, our childhood was not proper, and that's why we have become like that. What's our fault? So he's trying to invoke, you see, compassion of Vishwatama and Vidur, and Vishwanath is, no, actually, this, actually, yeah, you may be right, yeah, you had undergone injustice. So like that, he used to manipulate the emotions. He used to use their goodness. Sometimes Satan or Kali, he uses our goodness to confuse us. And we will think, oh, actually, yeah, this is right. Bharat Maharaj, Kali used his goodness to actually make him fall down, isn't it? Kali convinced Bharat Maharaj, that he should have mercy on this deer. Please help him, he will die without his mother. And he got confused. So Bharat Maharaj is a classical example of actually, it's a classical example of good anarthas. His compassion led him to fall down, because his compassion was not useful there. It was anartha, it was not artha at that time. So he should have got rid of compassion at that point of time. So that's the whole idea of the whole dimension of anartha we have to understand. Generally, we understand artha is Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Daya can be anartha. Speaking Satya can be anartha. In itself, we have to practice them, but at particular point of time, they can act as negative to us, harmful to us, and we have to understand that. Just like Parashar Muni. So I'll tell you, Parashar Muni, so who was his wife? Satyavati, isn't it? Satyavati and Parashar, yeah. Yeah, Satyavati and Parashar. So Parashar Muni wanted to cross the river, and Satyavati was there. So he asked Satyavati to please help cross the river. And so Parashar Muni climbed the boat, and when they were in the middle of the river, Parashar Muni told Satyavati, you see, this is the proper time that a great child will be born. And I want you to become my wife at this point of time. Because this Muhurat, the child has to be born, and he'll be the incarnation of God, Veda Vyas. And I want you to be my wife. And Satyavati told, see, I'm a virgin, and I'm a daughter of fisherman, and this blah, blah, blah. Parashar Muni said, no problem. So, but then at that time, when he was actually associating with Satyavati, one rishi was standing. on the bank, and he was seeing all these things. And he saw all these things, and he was very confused. How Parashar Muni can do such a thing with the fisherman's daughter in the middle of the river? He's gone mad or what? He could have taken this woman, somewhere in the house and married nicely. And what? He's got mad. He's like fallen down. And so, of course, externally, if you see, it's bad, If you do, I mean to say, even if today, if you do something with a girl on the middle of the road, what happens? He'll hear nonsense. You can't do that, no? Openly. Parashar Muni is doing. So what happened? So that person, he said, this is not good. And he got offense because of that. His goodness came in the way to see the reality. He's Parashar Muni. He is not an ordinary man. There has to be some reason. And he, in the next life, he became a Jamil. That person. And that's why he fell down. Whole life he was pure. And because of this offense against Parashar Muni, he fell down with the same thing. He thought what Parashar Muni is doing, illicit sex, and he himself fell down into illicit sex due to that offense. And that's another case of goodness. So we have to see, that's the whole point. See, now, before I told you this, you would never have understood what is anartha. Before this class, isn't it? Some devotees might be knowing, but most of you might not be knowing. Even goodness is a problem. It doesn't help you to see reality. So how do you know? Association of devotees. Padrajo Abhishekam. That's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Take the dust of lotus feet of Vaishnavas. Associate with them. And then you can know the reality. Otherwise, you'll not be able to understand the reality. That's all. Padrajo Abhishekam. These things you will never understand by your own mind. It's impossible. You have to hear devotees. You have to open your mind and understand these things. Otherwise, it's impossible to understand these things by your own understanding. Just by your own eyes, you cannot see your own eyes. By our own understanding, we cannot understand our own understanding. Am I right? We need some higher association. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj is recommending here. Let's end the talk here. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Anything anybody want to ask? You can please ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a very wonderful session. And yeah, so many points we had discussed about. Yes, we have to keep our mind always to associate with the devotees and to speak about the topics of the Lord. So as the Lord says, Bhavamat Bhakto. And very nice discussion about the Anartha, which I learned many new things today in this session. Thank you so much for bringing that out. But still, I have a confusion how this goodness becomes an Anartha. So this is the first time. I don't know, maybe I'm hearing this is for the first time. So repeated hearing will make my doubts be cleared, I think. So thank you so much for bringing that out. And yeah, so devotees, any questions? Yeah, Shukar Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead. Can you
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Keshwanand Prabhu, Danda Pradhan. Wonderful class. Prabhuji, you were telling about Duryodhana doing, when he put his foot on, Bhima put his foot on Duryodhana. And Ashwatthama was finding him wrong. No, but how many times Duryodhana has mistreated, no, from the childhood? He was trying to kill through poison, and then in the house they tried to burn him.
Oh, that's fine. I mean to say, even if somebody tries to do something harm on us, we kill him, how to die. At that time, it's not human to go and put a feet on his face. What is this? This is crazy, you know? Nobody will do like that, even if he's like a dead enemy of us. Nobody's going to do like that. How? This is not even a human thing. That's why Ashwatthama says that he is a devotee, but he's not even a human being. What's happening with him? But Bhima is a pure devotee. He has his own many higher reasons to do that, which Duryodhana could not see. Ashwatthama could not see that. That's
Because
the
he
whole idea.
remembered how he ill-treated Draupadi in the hall. That may will have come in the mind. No? This person has done so much atrocities throughout the
No,
life.
it doesn't happen like that. No human will do like that. Even if and these people are pure devotees of Lord. No, they will never do like that.
So
This
what
person,
made
this person is dead. Duryodhana is dead. In another 5 minutes, he's going to die. They could have just left him. Just get finish.
then how the pure devotee is doing like that? What is the reason for reacting that way?
There are reasons mentioned in Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnay that I don't want to go into class because it will take around 1-2 hours to discuss. It's a big thing, but just leave it around here.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sugopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful session. So, actually, Maya is so complicated. Like today, we learned that it's the anarthas. We have, goodness also in us, which can distract us from the path of devotional service. So that can also lead to our downfall. So, what to talk of the gross anarthas? So, is there any foolproof way of advancing in Krishna consciousness? I mean,
There
how
is
can
this. You
that?
are asking a foolproof way. A foolproof way is inside you and nowhere else. It is our own wisdom which we will develop as we associate with devotees, as we pass this life, and as we chant. It is our own vivek and pragya we will develop. That's a foolproof way. Swanubhav. But that has to be perfected by proper knowledge. Otherwise, even if you have a perfect guru, he might tell you, but we might not be able to even understand it or even execute it properly. So all scripture says foolproof way swa anubhava, swa pragya, swa vivek. And that's the purpose of this material word, to help us develop our own viveka. Otherwise, Krishna would have come and made you pure now in 1 second. But he doesn't do that. He wants us to learn ourselves. And that takes time. We will do errors, we will do, but we can actually accelerate our progress by associating with good, knowledgeable devotees. But if we keep on associating with devotees who are like us, Ram Mila Jodi ek andha ek kori. I don't know you understand Hindi or not. Then nothing is going to happen. Then it doesn't happen. Like we don't get beyond our own self. You are actually muted, Mataji, so we can't hear you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That means like if we have to gain our own anubhav and vivek, that means fall down is inevitable. Bina gire to aage nahi बढ़ सकते. That is
तो
sure.
fall down किसने कहा खराब है?
Yes.
Those who don't fall down, they don't even rise up. Those who don't fail, they don't win. Every failure has something to teach. So जो कहते हैं हमारा fall down नहीं होता, वो तो foolish है. वो एक झूठी बोल रहे हैं. ऐसा होता ही नहीं. It doesn't happen like that. But every fall down happens to teach us something, provided we learn from it. That's also mercy of Lord.
Okay.
So fall down is also mercy of Lord.
Prabhuji, there's one more question. Can I ask if time permits?
I don't know. Some coordinator has to decide.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay. Prabhuji, actually, during the class, you had mentioned that when we are chanting and when we are thinking about the services, then it is not such a good chanting. So what I wanted to know is like when we are chanting and when the thoughts of, like when we read Prabhupada's books and when those points are coming in our mind when we are chanting, is that okay or is it not okay when the
When we are
shloka
chanting,
is
when we are chanting, nothing should come except form, pastimes, and qualities of Krishna. If that's not coming, then we have to simply hear the holy name with the conception that holy name and Krishna are non-different. That's all. Anything else coming, that's a distraction.
so the the statements of Prabhupada, if they are coming in our mind, if we read Prabhupada's books,
Oh, that's a distraction.
that's a
Simple.
distraction.
Of course.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Nitin Narasimha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, your classes will be always mesmerizing. So, like whenever I hear, I get enthused because you, like as you mentioned, Ashwatthama. Actually, Ashwatthama is, he is wrong from the beginning. But how he can comment on Bhima, who is in the situation? You see the okay, Duryodhana is trying.
See, the point is, Prabhuji, I don't want to go in this topic. It will take a lot of time to discuss. But I've discussed this topic from one of the books of Madhvacharya, Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnay, and he raises his point. And the point is about, I explained about goodness and all these things. But how this and that needs a lot of discussion. So I didn't really want to go in this, that's the whole point there. That's all.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sundari Gopika Mataji. Okay, sorry, Nitin Narasimha Prabhu, do you have more questions? Follow-up question do you have?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Okay, Sundari Gopika Mataji.
Quickly do it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It's a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you say ki like Ajamil, with a rishi by offense, he become like slightly Ajamil. So Prabhuji, like in devotees community also, after coming in Krishna conscious, sometimes we do nonsense things. So if they're doing nonsense things, other devotee, for them, like we think about devotee, for those devotee we think about bad. So that is also offense.
No, if they are doing
we are
nonsense.
not grateful when things.
We don't think bad about. See, Parashar Muni is different, no. They are not all Parashar Muni, no.
Yeah.
That rishi should have some common sense. Parashar Muni cannot do all this kind of stuff, no. Suddenly, there has to be some deep reason there. A rishi was foolish enough to think like that. But our devotees, they are what? They are not even. We are not even dust of Parashar people. We are anti Parashar Muni, something. All of us. So it doesn't. Someday doing nonsense, he's doing nonsense, and you have to correct him if you are able to correct him. Otherwise, just leave that place or close your eyes. That's all. Finish. Or just complain to the leader.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll move on to the chat questions. So, yeah, here Sunanda Mataji, she is asking, what should we do if we are not getting such higher association physically and online association has some limits? We are unable to interact in such a way.
Well, you have to get. I don't know. You have to get some. You have to find some higher association. Pray to Lord that you get some association. But prayer is not enough. I mean to say, if you're not getting higher association, then we are not even prepared to get it. That's one thing. Because even if you get higher association, then what happens is, if you're not prepared, you'll not be able to take any benefit out of it. We can't even understand And even if those higher devotees, they speak something, we will think it's what, this is nonsense. We'll not be able to digest it. So let's prepare ourselves. Prepare by at least doing our homework, by reading books nicely and actually digesting it nicely. Then Krishna will give us, if we want, if we search it. That's how it is. I don't have a magic band that we can. That's how it goes.
So, but Prabhuji, so online association also will work out. Is that understanding right?
Yeah. Online, there are so many devotees. You find some devotee and discuss with them. No problem. That's okay. It's the transfer of knowledge has to be.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sunanda Mataji, I hope you got the answer. So here Prabhuji is also there, so you can get his association also. Hare Krishna. So, yeah, Manjari Leela Mataji has raised his hands.
Okay.
Mataji, please go ahead.
I think this is
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for this. Is such a wonderful class. And it always, whenever you have classes, it just, I learn a lot of different things that I never had heard before. So thank you for such a wonderful always. And one question I had just came up from the previous statement you said, to the Mataji's question, that we're not all Parashar Muni, so we should never, it's not that, but we also hear at the same time that we should not judge any devotees. So
no judgment is due to our mental speculation. Reality is something else. If somebody is doing wrong, he's doing wrong. I mean to say, does any mother judge her child? No. The mother is seeing what are the faults in child and trying to correct it. That's all. So nobody says don't judge your child. Then how she is going to correct? What is wrong, what is right, that's there. Just acknowledge it and try to help and correct it. That's all. Otherwise, if everybody thinks like that, then who is going to correct? And by the way, we can say in theory, don't judge, but practically, you can't deny seeing the faults. Practically, it doesn't happen. You can say to your mind, and we can say, and we can keep ourselves in illusion. Okay, don't judge. But then in our mind, it's evident in our face, so that's hiding from reality. That doesn't work. Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I want to.
You have time, Prabhu?
No, I have something to do. So
okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, dear devotees, Prabhuji has some other commitments, so we can keep your questions on the next session. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us your association. We'll pay our obeisance to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpadrupasya kripasiddhanam pavanebhyo Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Keshvanand Prabhuji ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Gauranga, Nityananda, Gauranga, Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam, Sabka Govinda Vrinda.
Anita Mataji?
Yes.
Mataji Dham ki jai ho.
Somebody is speaking?
Yeah.
What
Sundari Gopika. Mataji.
Sundari Gopika Mataji, yes. What Mataji?
Mataji, is possible this class recorded is send this group? This class?
Yes.
Because I attend this class half. So it's very wonderful class about chanting these things.
Yeah, we have a YouTube link, Mataji. We can post it here. You want the YouTube link? Yeah. I can post it in the chat box, Mataji. You can take it from there. 1 second.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
तुम्हारा नाक अभी भी चोकटा पे
1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Mataji, I posted the link in the chat box. You can click on that, and then I'll close the call after you click. Yeah.
And also you can subscribe to the channel, Mataji. You'll get all the recordings over there.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji. Hope you clicked on the link. Okay, we can all here. Hari
Radhe
Bol.
Radhe.
Hari Bol.
All
Radhe
the
Radhe.
day. Hari Bol.
Radhe.